welcome back to another 12 by 12 scrapbooking page layout. And today I am going to be taking this Hello paper. It is from the Maggie Holmes collection, I believe. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but it is from one of the Maggie Holmes collections. If you need to know the collection, just let me know in the comments below, and I can definitely go through my stash and look that up. I should have some of that paper left. So what I'm basically doing here is I am taking some white gesso and I am kind of smushing it around the background because I kind of want to make that hello word kind of lessen in intensity. I don't want it to be standing out quite so much, and I also want to do some mixed media on this background. So I kind of want to make all that stuff on the background page fade away. It's not like extremely dark because it is kind of more of a gray or charcoaly color, but it definitely is too bold for what I'm wanting. So what I'm going to do is take this beautiful paper that is just calling to be fussy cut and take that big humongous flower cluster in the middle and then hand fussy cut that out. And then I'm going to use that as a very main part of my layout today. So you're going to just see me doing a little bit of cutting, and then you will see a fast forward version of what this looks like. There you go. And then that photo of my daughter with her friends for her birthday party last year. And we went to the American Girl doll store and they had a little party in the cafe. And oh my gosh, it was probably one of my favorite birthday parties she's had. I probably had just as much fun, if not more, than those little girls did because it was just so cool. They had like a 5-course meal with this, and the food was just fantastic. It was just really good. So if you do have any little girls, that is one thing I would highly recommend. It definitely was a smaller party because it gets quite expensive to have many more than 5 or 6 girls there. But for what we got and the number of girls that came, I really felt like I had spent my money wisely on this party. It was just really good, and they were just really good to the girls, to the staff and everything there. But enough about American Girl and their parties. I'm going to talk about this layout because that's why you're here. So I just am doing some mixed media on the background here. It's just taking these Lindy's Stamp Gang sprays, and I showed you a close-up of the names of those sprays a little bit earlier. I think one is Fuzzy Navel Peach, and I always forget the name of this green one, but I did show you a bit earlier, so you should be able to see what those are. And I'm just strategically placing the colors around the page so that it just peeks out here and there from that flower cluster. Now, the Fuzzy Navel Peach, in both of these, I believe, no, I'm sorry, the Fuzzy Navel Peach is a shimmery color, and then the green is called Flat Fabio, or yes, I think that's what they're called, but it's just a flat color. It doesn't have any shimmer to it. And I just wanted touches of that. So the peach I kind of spread out all over, and I wasn't as worried. I just kind of wanted it peeking out from all areas of that die cut or that fussy cut flower. But for the green, I did want it a little bit more controlled. So you saw me kind of putting the image down and then pulling it up and then putting some more green and doing that over and over until I kind of got it the way I want it to be. And I did just want it peeking out. I didn't want the green to be too overwhelming because it is a bit more kind of bluer than the colors in the leaves here, but I just kind of like how that ended up looking. I didn't really have any kind of olive or greens, things like that, that would match as much, but I do like the look of this kind of brighter green. I think it works with the layout. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I get to what I want it to look like. And then once I do that, I'm going to add a few more sprinkles here and there, and then I dab some of them up, and then I put some more down, and I just keep doing that over again. And then once I get that happy, or I'm happy with where that is, I'm going to start adding some foam to the back of that floral piece that I fussy cut out. And I do put foam all over it, so I cut out a bazillion little pieces of foam until I got the whole entire background covered. So you'll see that here in just a second. And then that way I don't have little pieces of the flower falling down or pushing down the page. So it has a nice solid backing. So that is going to go right there. And then my photo is going to kind of nuzzle in that C shape that's kind of on the right middle of the cluster. And I'm just going to glue this down with some liquid adhesive. This is my Scraptastic glue in my fine liner bottle. And I use the liquid glue because I use the gesso on the background. You definitely should be using liquid glue when you are adhering things to gesso because gesso has kind of a grit and things don't stick very well. So the liquid glue seems to work the best for getting it to stick to the background page. So I kind of move that around a bit to get it where I want it to, and then I will move on to this picture here. And now I want to mount the picture, so I'm going to go through a couple different pieces of paper until I get the picture or the paper that I want and think it looks best in the mounting the photo. And I think I end up using, oh, I thought it was a darker color. I think I'm going to move on from that picture or paper as well. And I'm trying to decide, do I want the picture without a border or with a border? And I do ultimately decide it really needs some kind of backing. And then yes, I end up using this kind of green color because I wanted something that would pop. And that green color also matches pretty well with the Lindy Stamp Gang spray that I had used. And if you guys have never used Lindy Stamp Gang, I highly recommend it. It reminds me a lot of Shimmers. I also like their products a lot as well. And what I like about Lindy Stamp Gang is it's a little more fluid. The Heidi Swapp Color Shine I do like, but it doesn't seem to flow on the page as well when you're doing the mixed media background. The Heidi Swapp is really good and opaque for like splattering techniques and things, and it does work just fine with the packaging technique. It just depends on the look you're going for. And a lot of times I find that I like a more translucent color when I'm doing the backgrounds that kind of mix well or lay on top of each other nicely. And I find the Lindy Stamp Gang and the Shimmers product work the best for that. What I've done to remedy that when I do want to use the Heidi Shine or the Heidi Swapp Color Shine is I add a little bit of water, and then that makes it a little more fluid as well. And that does kind of help if you're looking for more of that translucent color. So I'm just taking this chipboard banner and I'm going to move it about 50,000 times, and it really doesn't change too much, but apparently that little centimeter, millimeter here and there makes a huge difference, and I have to keep moving it till it's exactly the way I want it. And so ultimately it's going to end up looking like that. So now that I like where that banner is placed, I'm going to look for a few more embellishments that I could put around the page. And I am just going through this die cut pack that came with the Maggie Holmes collection, and it works really well obviously with the papers because it's from the same collection. I try a couple leaves and different things, and I just really don't like how that looks, so I'm ultimately going to just add the XOXO die cut, and it is in gold, and I like that the best. I didn't like how that green kind of clashed, I felt, with the greens and leaves. It was just a different color green. I just didn't like it, so I don't end up using the leaves here. I do like how the gold XOXO looks though. It just adds a pop of shimmer and shine. And I think, I don't remember if I add some color shine to this or not in the gold. I think we'll have to see together. I don't remember off the top of my head now. So I'm just kind of playing with this, seeing if anything else fits in. I do like how that yellow flower fits in on the right hand side. It mimics the yellow flower that I fussy cut out of the paper, and I think that is a nice touch. So I also thought, well, maybe I can add these pink pink flowers in as well, but I ultimately decide that no, I think I'm just going to keep with the yellow. But I do want to add some of these pink hearts in. So I obviously had a premonition. I was thinking hearts earlier, and that's because I'm actually going to put hearts on. So I'm going to use two hearts, I think, from the chipboard piece. One that kind of looks like a layered heart, and the other one that's just more of a solid or an ombre that goes from a darker to a lighter pink. And I like how that ends up turning out. So this is pretty much getting towards the end. I am going to do a bit more because I'm going to add a title. The title of this one is going to be Wish Big, but first I want to make sure I glue down these chipboard pieces. Anytime I use chipboard, I always add some glue, and especially since I have the gesso in the background, I do add some liquid glue. So I'm going to add this Wish Big. I think this is also a Maggie Holmes thickers, and I do also add the liquid glue to that, and the fine liner bottle comes in handy when you're adding the thicker chipboard thickers down. So I'm going to go through these epoxy stickers, and while I'm doing that, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. If you liked the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber on my channel so you can hear the most latest layouts and things like that I'm making. And always, if you have any comments or questions, leave those below. I love talking with you guys, and I really appreciate everyone that takes the time and effort to leave a comment. I know it's just really easy to watch the videos and not put the thumbs up or not leave a comment. So for those that do leave comments and thumbs up, I really, really, really super appreciate all of your feedback, both positive and negative. Anytime it's constructive feedback is what I love, because that just makes us better people when we have those conversations and discussions. So thank you guys again for joining me, like I had said. And what I am doing here is I'm just going to add some sequins from my stash. I think some of them are from Spiegelman Scraps and a couple other places, and pretty Pretty Pink Posh, maybe? Oh, I can't remember if that's one of the sequins I used or not. But I'm just going to glue these down with my liquid adhesive. I do think glue dots work a bit better for this, but I had so many on the page I didn't want to use all those glue dots up, so I do end up just adding some liquid glue, which is the Scotch tacky glue, to these. So that pretty much wraps it up. I will talk to you guys again very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.